Garry, tell us what happens in Moscow in 2012 when you're leading a peaceful march?
Actually, I led several marches in Moscow with my friends and colleagues.
But what is basically the FSG do? What do they actually do to you?
KGB. Because these organizations change names many times, but it's always it's the same nature.
So outside the court for Pussy Riot, what do they actually do?
If you're talking about this moment, there was no rally. I mean, all I tried to do is just to get into this courtroom where they had to sort of read the verdict. We all knew, they will be sent for, to jail for a few years. I was in this courtroom a few times before when I visited the Yukos trial, the Mikhail Khodorkovsky's trial. So, I mean, I was familiar with all these arrangements. There was a huge crowd there, and they just taken me away out of the crowd. So, actually, I'm used to be carried on the shoulders, but there's a difference, between your fans and riot police. And it was all for nothing. I mean, they took me out of the crowd, so just put them in the van. I tried to understand why, just tried to walk away, and eventually I was beaten, delivered to the police station, and then they wanted to charge me with biting the police officer.
But what did he do?
I was insulted because I wouldn't bite a sergeant. I would go for a general. No, and it's easy to laugh now, but when we actually realize the charge, and it could be, it's called attack on an officer on duty, and it could be up to 5 years in jail. What saved me is that every moment of these 20 seconds, of this clash, was documented from different angles, and it says from all these videos, they could see that I didn't have a chance to raise my head. I mean, not just to open my mouth. So even just at one point, they just we received a picture from one of the many journalists there who has been doing this, camera and just dozens and dozens of pictures, and he actually caught this police officer a few minutes before the incident, already having a little bite there or a cut, whatever it was. So the blood was dripping there. So and you can see the timing. So it's 5 or 6 minutes before they took me away and attacked me. So it was a rare case when I was acquitted, though I believe that today it will matter. Today, when the entire Russian propaganda turned, the rest of the world and Russia in virtual reality, so I'm sure they would reverse timing. So and it's this kind of video could work against me. So and again, I've been arrested, physically assaulted, and several times. Once I spent 5 days in jail in 2007. But I call these days like a vegetarian time. Because these days, for having just a rally, and it's you can't imagine how peaceful this rallies. I mean, it's nothing to do with Ferguson, Missouri, or or with France or the UK. You can have many cases where the angry crowd so clash with a police officer. We didn't have a single broken window, set aside a single burned car. So it was intentionally peaceful. So though we had enough strong men among our ranks and files, but the idea was just do absolutely nothing to provoke them. The only violence in the streets of Moscow just came from riot police. But in 2012, when Putin came back, that's after May 6th, when they attacked his peaceful demonstration, and hundreds of people were arrested, and many of them ended up in jail. We're talking about dozens of political prisoners spending years in jail for just being at the wrong time in the wrong place and doing absolutely nothing. So if you read these reports, from the police officer, I mean, you can't imagine how much lie they can just squeeze into this one page, despite the fact that that video documents, again, from many angles, but nobody cared. So.